pledge that I will serve faithfully
I pledge that I will serve faithfully
in the Civil Air Patrol Cadet
in
Program,
the Civil Air Patrol Cadet Program,
and that I will attend meetings regularly,
and that I will attend meetings regularly,
participate actively in unit activities,
participate actively in unit activities,
obey my officers,
requirements. And it's a really good program. If down the road you get into ES and you want to go a little bit further, the programs the way to go. So hopefully we can build upon that. So for now, I believe he's going to give some individual training to a small.
Good evening. I'm Lieutenant Charles Ware. I'm the ES training officer at the 186 in Plainville, but I've recently been drafted into more of a group training role. We've had probably 17 training missions last year out of Plainville, and we want to build that type of operation here as well. I would love to have guys who are interested in ES and camping and woodsmanship and all those sorts of things step up and get involved. So I'm curious, does anybody know the 3 or 4, if we want to call it that, missions that emergency services participates in? There's 3 or 4 roles that an ES team has, or 3 or 4 missions they would go out on. Anyone know what they might be?
Would one be ELT?
One would be an electronic search, absolutely.
Another would be missing person.
Missing person, absolutely.
Vehicle?
Vehicle, maybe not so much, but maybe one that doesn't have wheels, yeah. Which would be a missing aircraft, which is also known as a red cap. A red cap is the highest level of alert that Civil Air Patrol can have, and that is usually a presumed missing, probably crashed or whatnot aircraft. I've been on about 25 of those. I'm originally from Pennsylvania, and in Pennsylvania, ES, Ground Teams Ranger, is a religion. And if you were going to be in that religion, the mother church would be
Hawk Mountain.
Hawk Mountain. And that's where you go to earn these, or Mr. Hadley has. And I would love to get all of you that are interested in that spooled up to the level that you would be able to transit to Hawk Mountain with us and participate either this summer or in Ranger competition next year. We went last year, first Connecticut team to go to Ranger competition, we took 2nd place. Now what's exciting to me about that is there were only 2 teams there. It was kind of hard not to take 2nd place. But there were 500 other teams from around the country that didn't even bother to show up. This year I want to take 2 Connecticut teams, 2 separate teams, and I think the best potential for a team to go besides Plainville is Danielson. So I'm very excited and very happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to working with each of you to get you all spooled up.
Looking forward to working with you, sir.
Please?
Looking forward to working with you.
That's awesome. I'm going to get to work with some of the folks here tonight, so it won't take too much time, but I'd love to come back and give a more thorough briefing on ES and how Connecticut Wing and the group, and you in particular in your squadron, can get involved in the very exciting program within ES. All right, so hatchet, machete, knife use, things like that.
Yes. The sign-off sheet says like you demonstrate like the safe use of each.
Right.
I have my own. Should I use
Sure.
yours?
Let's
or?
take a look at it. Either one.
I just kind of. I'm not really supposed to have this at a 24, but.
I carry mine on 24. That is a hatchet. Yes, it is. Okay. First things first. So how do we pass it? Like that.
Like that.
Hold it by the head.
Blade out.
Blade up or out, something like that. Just like any other knife, I pass it to you.
I have it.
Got it. Thank you, and release. Okay. Pass it back. Got it.
Got it.
Got it.
Okay. Biggest danger. Thank you. Got it. Biggest danger on a hatchet is a bad grip and goes onto your foot, and you know that would be bad, right? You to see what's around you, up overhead to see if there's any. Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you're coming like over this, it doesn't get hung up in a branch, yanked out of your head, and then boom onto your head, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
As far as the motion itself, it's a side-to-side motion at about a 45-degree angle, and I'm not really hitting it that hard, just to kind of demo. But also, you want to watch out that if it misses, where is it going to go?
Yes.
Not your foot.
And just be conscious of that. So I like a good wide stance, kind of like this, back to back. One thing people will do is they don't really hold it too tightly, and you get this glance off of here.
Yeah.
It's really not so good.
Yeah.
So hold it out towards the end, right on that butt there where it's good and solid. Get a good swing in there, and back to back, cutting out those chips. Now, one thing I'm not doing that I should be, safety
I was
glasses.
just about to suggest that. So
This-
I have some, sir.
Let's bust one out just for good.
Just for the user.
Yep. Yeah, it was almost a glance there on that
Yeah.
last one. Yeah.
Coach, you want to go?
I got it. Yeah,
Good by me. Now, one thing I've noticed, that hatchet is actually a little bit on the dull side.
so is that one, sir.
Yeah, it should actually be sharpened up quite a bit, and that's done either with a file or a whetstone. Do you have one somewhere in the squadron?
No, sir.
No? Okay, well, we'll get to it, I suppose. All right, so any questions on got it? Hatchet use?
No, sir.
Nope, good. Okay, let's move on to Bertha. This is Bertha. This is probably, I have used many cutting tools. I have never cut myself with a knife or a pocket knife. I have cut myself 3 times with a machete. And I have the scars to prove it. I've got one on my hand here, one here, and there's one somewhere else I can't remember. This is the most dangerous weapon. I don't even know why they train us to use this in Civil Air Patrol, but they do. So we need to learn about it. So the action with a machete is a figure 8, like so. And one of the things you this really should actually have a string on it that goes around your waist or your wrist to prevent it from getting snagged on a bush and flying out of your hands. But what it's used for is for hacking your way through underbrush, kind of, very thick stuff. So passing it is the same as a sheath knife. Got it? And that would be holding the blade with the sharp edge up, passing it like so.
I've got it.
Got it. Okay, good. And that confirmation that you've got it. So, hand that around. There you go. Sharp edge up.
I've got it.
Good. Got it. Okay, so let's see that motion as if you were chopping.
Got it.
And again, before you use it, quick your hand to see who's around you.
I read you need to have a 10-foot, at least a 10-foot.
I would
between
think so.
people.
And because if there's anything that's going to come flying out of your hands, that's going to be it.
Yes.
All right, figure 8 motion. Exactly. Okay, very good. Anyone else want to try it? Got it.
Keith, you're gonna do it?
Anyone else? Mr. Trosho? Got it. So just by the way, these large cutting tools are ranger tasks, not ES tasks. And so for basically operating, got it, in the state of Connecticut, this is not something that's part of our curriculum. This is definitely a ranger item. Anyone else? No.
So if you want to do the cool stuff, you need to become rangers, right?
Exactly right. So that's Bertha. This one's not on the curriculum or the test, but I'd like to introduce you to Janet. And Janet is my tomahawk. Same as a hatchet, pass it the same way, except it is smaller, lighter, and way sharper. You could shave with this.
Got it.
Take a look, check the blade, just get a handle for it. That I carry with me
yeah,
all
wow.
the time. First thing I did when I picked that up at the store is cut my thumb on it. I was just, put the sheath back on. Whoa, dang,
It's sharper than my ice skates.
it's wicked. But that's probably one of the most useful tools I've ever carried.
Yeah.
The American Indians had it right. So go ahead, give it a swing. It's the same,
swing.
same 45-degree motion on the wood. It'll make short work of that line. Good, clearing the tools out of the way. Yep, check around you, good. Doesn't have a nice feel?
Oh yeah.
He's a lefty too, by the way, huh?
Oh, I see that, looky there.
Sticks a lot easier.
Yeah, it's because of that sharpness. Keith, give it a spin.
Alrighty. I've got it.
This is basic woodmanship. It's one of the ranger tasks. Learning how to use the hatchet, learning how to use a machete.
Sticks.
How to use
Yeah, I see that.
sheath
It's pretty
knife.
cool, huh?
Very
So
sharp.
these are actually practical standards. They
I've
actually
never
have to
touched
use
a
it.
tomahawk before. That kind of.
Knowing the
That's
parts
the
of
real
it.
one. It was made by a real blacksmith. There's like 250 bucks just to get the full detailing on it.
Oh, no, they just, it's all
And obviously with something this sharp,
Kind of a
we
trick.
never take a step without the sheath being on it.
went to ranger school, so it's a pretty tough old bird to go to ranger school at 72 years old. And we're required to only have a certain length knife. And he has this knife. It's a military issue K-bar on the side of his belt, and then everybody was impressed with it because of its size. But what was unique about this individual was he had two items that were really extraordinary. He had this.
Oh, I met him.
He had this big K-bar knife, military issued knife, and then he had this all aluminum canteen. So the older folks said, boy, that's a real old canteen. He said, yeah, let me tell you a little bit of story about it. I had a friend who was in World War II, and he took this thing all over the European theater. So that was actually used in action by one of his friends. Same with the knife. Both of those things that he carried on his person were used in World War II. Yes, see?
1944, it's stamped right on the bottom.
He had an aluminum cap. This is
Oh, wow, that's
even
way back.
before that.
Okay, yeah,
And that's what really drew his attention. So some of these old people, they may be old, but they got really interesting stories.
So Connecticut law is no knife longer than 4 inches. And that is basically Civil Air Patrol's rule, almost. Rangers are allowed to go to 6 inches.
Figured it out.
Okay. I'll take the knife, please. Oh, shoot. Thank you. The ES program in Connecticut says you may only have a folding style lock blade knife, but if you are going into the Ranger program, you are allowed to carry a sheath knife once that's approved by your commander. Same as before, the method for passing it is sharp edge up, held with all fingers like so, hand the handle to the gentleman.
Got it.
After you get confirmation, yes, he's got it, and there we are. You will get yelled at faster, no faster for anything else other than mishandling a knife. Got it? And I'll give you an example. Ranger competition, we were sitting down having lunch. One of our teammates used a knife to open up his rations and stuck the knife into a piece of wood like that. And of course it's not sticking now. There we go. He got yelled at 17 ways to heaven for having an exposed knife out like that. So if you're walking by, put the other hand in, and there you go. So we always say, don't go walking through the woods with this lest you trip and, oh no! You know, when you put it on your belt, it's supposed to be behind the seam of your pants.
Yeah.
So again, if you fall and it cuts through your sheath, it's not going to cut into anything like up on this side. That would be bad, right? Want to pass it around? What do you think is safer? A dull knife or a sharp knife?
Sharp knife.
Why is that?
Because the dull knife, there's more opportunity for you to slip.
Absolutely. And then if it does actually cut you, which is a cleaner cut, it will heal faster and not be infected, that sort of a thing. Thank you.
The entire air show I think we got 50.
I've heard that, as much as 60 or 80 even?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. So hard landings very commonly set these things up. And that's the first thing that we want to check on as we're going out is, you know, an aircraft's missing. Well, is it at an airport? Did they make an emergency landing? Did something go wrong? They landed at the wrong airport, something goofy like that. And have no idea that somebody is even looking for them. So, 2 ways to do a RAM search. One of them is verbally, visually, and the other is electronic. And we'll cover both. But the starting point of each of them cannot, under any circumstances, go onto a field without permission. So we have to have someone in authority that approves us going out here. So that's one of the reasons I asked Captain Hadley, is this public or private? If it's private, it's a non-starter. But since it is public, and you know, there's a little bit of switching that, he's an aircraft owner, and so we're going to have to move it. First things first, let's go find the management office. Now we know they're closed, right?
Yes, sir.
But let's go identify that we did in fact find the management office. So lead on. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah. Some guy in there. What do we do?
Tell them that we need to search, or that something, a DLT opens it off.
First things first, and this is the most commonly skipped item, is identify yourself and why you're there.
Oh,
Hi,
yes.
sir. I'm Lieutenant Wareham from the Civil Air Patrol, and we have a report of a possible ELT sounding on the field. We'd like to see if we have permission to go out on the field and do a RAM search. Is that cool by you? Yes, it is. Great. Can I have your name and phone number for my records? Yes, you can. Blah, blah, blah. Super. Here's my name and phone number. So that, you know, maybe we don't find anything then, but later on something shows up, they know who to call.
Did you already have that prep, sir? The
Well,
card, or?
You could.
Some piece of information.
Some people have those business cards that they make, that's fine, but you know, just a simple red Piper 172. Excuse me, Cessna 172.
Okay.
Do you know the major difference between a Cessna and a Piper?
The wing.
The wing. Cessna's generally high wing, Piper's generally low wing. So, let's go ahead and take a visual scan here for a possible red. Wow, that's really something. Alright, well, now I'm going for another red one. I don't have a 10 number, but it looks like the only contender on the wait is that. Back on the other side of that one. Yeah, that's the other one. That's the Cessna. Okay, so while we're here, let's talk about the electronic side of things. The electronic side is that what if we had an ELT going off right now? How would we determine which airplane it is? So first of all, I highly recommend, and you probably have this, sir, investing in a small VHF scanner. Any station, this is Charter Oak 246. Be advised, we'll be conducting a ramp training exercise at the Danielson Squadron. This is an exercise. Danielson area, Charter Oak 246, over.
Okay, well, we just finished a communication. If you didn't hear it, then...
Touch it to the aircraft and go from the center. And that will tell you whether it's good or not. So, you know, more of a getting close, getting super close.
Yeah.
So the question becomes, how do we identify an ELT antenna on an airplane to know what to touch it to? Let's take a look. Usually, the ELT antenna is on the tail. There it is. Straight one. Usually not a bent one. Usually not side by side. Usually straight one, just like that. Yep. That one's actually twice as long as I usually see. Sometimes they have a little curly cue on them. So if you...
That's got the swirly and the ball.
Danielson Training Base, this is Charter Oak 246, over. Ooh, that was weird.
What were you, Charter Oak 480? I can't remember.
Any station, be advised, Charter Oak 246, the training exercise in Danielson has been concluded. This has been a drill. Charter Oak 246 out. So yeah, you can see it's like really extensively covers the area.
Okay, cool.
But it's interesting, if you read that section, it says it has to be a certain size and taped down here a certain dimension, otherwise it won't work.
Interesting.
Yeah, right? There it is, 18 inches over the skin of the aircraft beyond the antenna to be effective. Crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Right on.